Hello again, I am Jim Bob, and welcome back to another episode of American Midwest. And today we have quite a few different jobs that we need to get done. So, as you can see, we are loading some pig food into a trailer here. We've got 4 pallets of pig food. That was the second one going in just there. This is just to give us a little bit of a top-up until our crops are grown and harvested, as we have everything that we need to top up our animals is growing right now and in various different stages of being ready to harvest. Our canola is in its first stage of growth, and we need to weed one of our 2 fields. We need to weed field 12. That will take it up to stage 3 fertilization. All of our other fields are already at stage 3, so we don't have to do any more fertilizing work on those. We have wheat and corn and beets all growing on our other 3 fields, and they are in their final stage of growth. So this is the last day of them growing. They will be ready to harvest tomorrow. So we're going to use today as an opportunity to just do a little bit of work around the farm that we need to get done. So first things first, let's just park this up here out of the way. Let's drop the forks down. There we go. Engine off. And we're going to go and feed these 4 pallets worth of food to our pigs. Other jobs that we have to do today as well include dealing with all of those silage bales that we left on the L-shaped grass field below the BGA. They are now ready to transport and sell. And that's going to give us a nice cash injection. So that's going to be the next job that we do once we've kind of taken care of our pigs and our cows. We're then going to take that money and sell it. We'll sell all of those bales, take the money, and we're going to do some redeveloping on our farm. We currently have down next to, between fields 14 and 16 in the bottom left corner, we have our placeable mill cell point and our placeable root crop cell point as well. We're going to rip those out. We're going to put down new root crop placeables, one for storage, one for a cell point, and we're going to merge them together into a single building. And I'll show you how we're going to do that in a little while. And then we're going to move the mill up to our dairy farm, and that's going to sit next to our silos. We're actually going to rip one of those 2 silos out. Now that the map has been updated and we have the 800,000 litre storage capacity on the main farm, we no longer need 2 of those silos. 420,000 litres is a little bit excessive when it comes to storage just for our animals. So we're going to rip one of those 2 silos out, and the space that it's going to leave behind, that's where we're going to put the mill. So we'll have a sell point here on the dairy farm. So if we do have any crop here that we want to get rid of, we'll have an opportunity to do it up here. Also, I've just realised I've driven all the way in here and I didn't need to. We have replaced the original trailer that we had here, which was the Herbst low loader. That's gone, and I've replaced it with this Dooley 23-foot bale trailer. I wanted to try this out, and this seems like the perfect opportunity to do so. It is customizable in its options, so we've added both of the creels on the ends here. We've changed the colour configuration of the body itself to the red, and we also have the colour wheels, so it kind of matches up with the rest of our equipment up here as well. Let's just spin around, go back out to the pig trough so that we can empty that food in. So yeah, we'll be doing quite a bit of restructuring work up here as well. So plenty of stuff to keep us going, and once all that's done, that'll be it for the day, and all that'll be left will be to wait for the harvest, which will be tomorrow. We'll be able to get our first set of grains done, and we'll need to lease some root crop equipment as well so that we can do that harvest. And there we go, that's our pigs kind of just given a little bit of a top up, just a small one. It might not actually be enough, but we are kind of very short on cash right now, so we can always add a couple more pallets a little bit later on. But for now, we're going to put the dump truck away. In fact, actually, let's take a look at our animal chart. So we need about a day's worth of food, and we're not far off that. That's about a day, I think. We need to top up their water, because as you can see, without that water, their productivity is currently at 0%. Not good. But everything else is kind of enough to tick us over. If you look at our cows, we have very little food left. We have a little bit of grass left, and they also need some water as well. So while we have this dump truck attached, let's not use our pickup truck because it's going to be fully loaded and it's going to be a little bit heavy on our truck. Let's use our Puma, our workhorse tractor. That is essentially what I was up here for, is to do all these kind of little ferrying around jobs. So there it is. We'll jump in. What we're going to do is, first things first, we're going to top up the grass. We have grass waiting for us in our forage and chip silo. Just here. So let's back up. I think that'll get us underneath the pipe. Yes, it will. And there we go. Let's fill this up with some grass. We'll probably need to do a couple of different loads with this. And we got some cows moving across here. Just wait for these gates to open up. Hopefully they won't run out into the road. I mean, our animals are pretty well behaved, so we haven't really got to worry about that. But this will just shortcut us through to the grass trough, which is right around here. Oh, that's a tight turn with that gate like that. And how are we looking on grass? Yeah, we are going to need another trailer's worth. Look, that's fine. It's not a problem. And I've noticed as well, I've been doing some testing, we don't actually need straw for TMR at all. At all. We don't even need it as bedding. We can just make a mix of of hay and silage, and that's all we need. We don't need to have straw bedding down. We don't need to have straw as part of the mix. We just need hay and silage, and that will count as TMR. That's all we need. I didn't believe it at first. I've always thought that if you wanted to do the mix of, you know, say a 50-50 mix of hay and silage, you needed to have straw bedding down in your cow area for that to kind of count as the straw component. But I was doing some testing a couple of days ago with a friend of mine, and we tried out different combinations of product, different ratios, and we tried TMR with straw bedding down and without straw bedding down as well. And the results were identical in every single scenario that we tried. It didn't matter what changes we made. The amount of product that was split into power food and then the rest that went into hay and silage remained exactly the same. And it made no difference whether we had no straw whatsoever, whether we only had straw bedding down, whether we had straw in the mix of the TMR, or whether we had straw mixed and straw bedding down. It made absolutely zero difference whatsoever. So it all came about simply as a test to see whether or not I could mix up some TMR without the need for, you know, without any straw in it, and see if our forage silo would accept it, and it did. So then I started testing whether or not that mix would count as TMR in the food trough, and it does. So I will demonstrate that for you in just a moment. Let's just put this truck away first of all. I say truck, it's not really a dump truck, it's a dump trailer, but yeah, we'll put this away. And we need to do water next. Oops. So once we've done the water, we'll grab our mixing wagon just there, and we'll mix up some TMR, and we'll feed it to our cows. And you'll see exactly what I mean. And we'll also go ahead and mix a large batch as well, and we'll stick some into our forage silo. We do have a little bit of water left. We may as well not waste it. Oh, that's sheep. We don't have any sheep. That would be a waste. Oh, and also, it's been pointed out to me, the water tower on this map at the main farm does not charge. Now, I just assumed that it would, and I didn't bother to test in the map tour because I've been charged at every single water tower in the past. I've never not been charged at a water tower. So I didn't even think to check whether or not we would actually get charged on this map, and we don't. So the water tower that we have at the main farm will not charge you for water. You can top your tankers up there for free. But it is a little bit of a trek to go all the way down there for a water tanker and then bring it all the way back up again, especially if you need to do that more than once. So I'm going to continue to use my dipping the trailer into the reservoir up here routine, because it's a shorter distance. But for the purposes of this, just to prove the point, I am going to head down to our farm. I'm going to fill the trailer up there. You'll see that we do not get charged for it. And then this will be the one and probably only time that I'll use water from our main farm. Here we are at the water tower. So we'll just park up. There it is, as you can see. And we are filling with water, and our money is not going down. We are getting this water for free. Very, very nice. It is a little bit of a trek, but it's not, I suppose it's not too far when you think about it. I mean, it's not like we're on opposite sides of the map. It could be a lot further away. So I suppose it's not too bad a distance. It just, when you get to the point when you need to make a lot of trips, which the number of cows that we are going to be looking at getting on this farm, we are going to need to make multiple trips at some point, then it may become a little bit too far. But there we go, we have a full 32,000 litre tanker of water, and it didn't cost us a penny. So I'm going to drive this back. We'll fill up our water tanker, or water trough, for the cows. So the basic premise of this, and we're going to do this outside the cab just to save a little bit of time. What we're going to do is we're going to drop in around about 6,000 litres of hay from our forage silo, because we have a lot less hay than we do silage. We have about 500,000 litres of silage and about 350,000 litres of hay. So let's start by dropping in hay, and we want about 6,000 litres. That's close enough. So now we're going to drop this just there. And shovel up enough buckets of silage to fill the capacity on this. We could probably do with a weight. This is a little bit heavy. Although we could just fit weighted wheels, that might be better actually. Assuming we don't have to pay for weighted wheels. Let's go find out. And we may have to move the truck as well. Let's see. So little bit too far away, I think. Let's try that again. Yeah, there we go. So, weighted wheels, there we go. We've just got enough. Okay. That'll give us a bit more stability. If we still struggle, we can always grab the weight, but I'd rather not do that while we're also having to mess around with hooking up and unhooking to our trailer as well. So there we go. We just need a little bit more. Oops. Yeah, we're just about getting away with the wheel weights there. Okay, so there we go. We're full. So let's pull up the help menu. And there you can see we have a 60-40 mix, essentially, of straw versus hay. Sorry, of hay versus silage. 40% hay, 60% silage. So just to prove that this will count as TMR, we're going to dump this in the silo just here. There we go. So now I'm going to back the mixing wagon back up. Like so. Oops. And there we go. We have 16,000 litres of total mixed ration. Well, we seem to have lost a litre, but we have 16,000 litres of total mixed ration. But because it's a mix, we can't load it back into our feeding trough. Sorry, our mixing wagon. So we have it, we just can't bring it back out with this particular piece of equipment here. What we would need is the dump trailer to get that back. So instead, what we're going to do is mix up another quick batch. So let's go to hay. That's about 6,000 litres. There we go. We'll drop that off. We're going to add in some more silage to the mix. I think one more shovel is all we'll need. Maybe slightly less than a shovel, actually. Ooh. Took that corner a little too fast and too tight with the bucket a little too high. There we go. And there we go, we're full. So I'm going to very quickly just drop that last little bit back out again. So now that we have our 60-40 mix of TMR in the back here, it's time to dump it into our animals. Give our cows a little bit of a meal. And this is the reason I wanted to empty the bucket, so that as I'm going along, I can pick up that grass that's on the ground. Like so. Just going to clean up our food trough. There we go. And if we look at our animal chart now, you can see our power food and our silage and hay are both going up. Now, there's a slight disparity in where the levels are on those bars, simply because we still had some silage and hay left in our food trough. Otherwise, those bars would be progressing at exactly the same... Well, they are progressing at exactly the same rate, but if they were both empty when we started, then they would both be showing the same amount of fill, just with different actual quantities. But there we go. We have made TMR. We have no straw in that mix whatsoever. We have no straw in our cow bed whatsoever. Grass, don't need grass, in TMR. Grass is just there for the grass trough. So all we've done is we've mixed up a 40% mix of hay, a 60% mix of silage, and you can go 50-50. You can go 60-40 the other way around if you wanted to, do 60 hay, 40 silage. You could even play about with those percentages a little bit more. There is a little bit of scope to maybe even go slightly less. But that's all we've done. Just mixed a little bit of hay and a little bit of silage, and we've made power food. So that's all you need for TMR. Hay and silage is all you need. The straw is just an additional component that you can add in as a filler. So if you don't have massive quantities of hay and massive quantities of silage like we do, and you want to make as much TMR as you possibly can, then you can reduce the amounts of hay and silage you're putting in and add in a bit of straw just to stretch that mix out a little bit. But you don't need it. It's not a compulsory component in mixing TMR, at least not in this game. It was in Farming Sim 15, but in 17, it's not a necessary component at all. So there you go. That's a quick and easy way of making TMR. You don't need to wait for straw. Now, one problem I have been noticing, I noticed it in testing and it's just happened again now, is that unfortunately the mixing wagon is very temperamental when I try and load into it from the forage and chip silo. And I don't know if this is the mod that's playing up or if it's the game that's just playing up, if it's something wrong with that, that particular individual piece of equipment, and maybe a different loading wagon would work better. I don't know. But it's now refusing to take any product in there whatsoever. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing up the boss trailer and making a bit of a mess of turning in, as you can see. There we go. It's a little bit tighter than I thought, trying to bring that train around. What we're going to do is basically we're going to fill this up with hay and just dump it on the ground, and then just shovel in hay and then shovel in silage, and just try and speed our process up a little bit rather than messing around by connecting up to a small dump trailer, constantly doing that and disconnecting, reconnecting, and so on and so forth. Just going to get 60-odd thousand litres worth of hay, dump it on the ground, and that will be enough, I think, for our TMR session. So I'm going to dump it in that open space just there behind us. We are going to need to use a little bit of space with this vast quantity of hay all going down. Whenever you tip loose, it spreads out incredibly quickly with the loose physics that we have. And I can't remember the exact capacity of this. I know it's over 60,000. There we go, 65,270 litres. That's quite a lot. Oops, avoid the rocks if I can. This is where we're going to dump it, in this space opposite our TMR bunker. Just here. So, let's set cruise control to a ridiculously low speed. Say 2 miles an hour, and let's start tipping. This could be a problem. Alright, let's stop tipping. That's a lot more than I thought, so let's move this out of the way. We're going to need to park the truck up, and then we'll do another dump once we've cleared off that first set. Because that's a lot of hay to get rid of. So let's just swing the truck around without crashing into everything. That would be useful. We're making a little bit more more work for ourselves than we really need to here, but it's getting done. So there we go. That's now sort of out of the way. Engine's off. Excellent. Just turn that engine off. So let's start with our hay. That's our first component. Now I can also go and fit the weight as well, which I'll do in a moment. So I need to add a little bit more stability to this thing, and I also need to add some more fuel. So I'll do it when I go off to refuel. I'll start with the hay. I'm going to go with scoop and a half. There we go. That's about 6,000 litres, just under. We don't have to do it exactly 6,000 litres. It's a nice roundish kind of number, so I know exactly, you know, what kind of mix I need. Let's grab our silage, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix up TMR like this until we run out of the hay that we've got in our trailer, and everything else is dumped. And then that's going to be all we need to feed our cows. So I'm going to carry on doing this, and then once it's done, we'll make sure that our food trough is full. Anything left over will remain in our silo for future use. And it means that at some point I can just come back whenever I've got a little bit of free time at the end of the day, and all of our jobs get done a little bit early. I can come and mix up some more TMR and just get it loaded into our silos, ready for future use. So I'm going to disappear for a bit while I do this. So I've just about used up that first batch of hay. So we're going to need to tip out another load. Let's move the tractor out of the way. That should do it. Get backed up. And dump out the second half of the trailer and continue mixing up another batch of TMR. I don't actually know how much TMR I've made so far. I've just been kind of mixing and dumping into the silo, so I'm not entirely sure how much is in there, but it's got to be a decent amount already. I mean, I'm doing around about a 35-65 mix, so around 5,500 litres. Of hay, and the rest in silage. So I've done about just under 4,000 litres, so I need about 1,500 out of this bucket here. That'll do. Oops. A little bit of premature tipping there. Let's try and scoop that back up. There we go. And just need to top up now with the final scoop of silage. See, we're actually making quite a bit of an indent into our bunker here. We're up to what, about 380,000 left. And there we go, another full mixing wagon. So just going to back it up, empty it out, and once that's done we'll go back to mixing up more and more. We'll use up that batch of hay and continue to take from the bunker, and once all that hay's gone, that'll be it. We will then see where we stand and fill our food trough for our cows, and then we'll move on to dealing with those bales. So first, let's park up the mixing wagon, like so. And straight into shoveling silage again. So we've used up all of the hay that we took out, that 62,000 litres, that's all been used up. So we've just dumped that last mix in. So let's find out exactly how much we have and then make sure that our cows are fully fed. How much TMR do we have? It's got to be a lot. $208,000 litres by the look of it. That is an awful lot. All right, let's fill up a trailer. Make sure we feed our cows. While that's doing that, actually, I'm going to grab that last bit of grass. Let's clear out the food trough again. And then we're going to move on to baling. Oops. There we go. Grab that last little bit. There it is. Oh, tipped it out again already. Ah, that's clean enough. Alright, so that should be full by now. It is. So let's tip into our food trough. There we go. And we should see those bars start to shoot up. And one thing I am noticing as well is that we don't have enough pig food. We are going to have to buy some more. And there we go. We have a huge amount of TMR available to us. And some very, very hungry cows. So I'm going to keep doing this until our troughs are full, and then I'm going to go and take our new bale trailer, our dually trailer, all the way down to the grass field where the bales are stacked. We're going to load those up, take them round to the BGA, and then we're going to tip them in there, make some money and produce some digestate. So as you can see, we are loading quite nicely here. Having a go at this 2 at a time. It's a little tricky to get the ground layer on, but once the ground layer's on, it's really straightforward and easy. Just need to do some single bales to finish this trailer off. Or at least to finish the ground layer off anyway. There we go. And then do the same on the other side. Perfect, there we go. Let's strap that down. Now I can put a double stack quite nicely on there. And then same on the other side. We're actually getting through these bales fairly quicker than I thought I would. Just give that one a little nudge. There we go. It's a little off center compared to the other ones, but it doesn't matter. And there we go. We have a nice stack of bales on there. Do I want to go one higher? No, not really. So let's get this round to the BGA. And then we'll start tipping some bales in there. So luckily we have no gates that we need to worry about emptying or opening. And there's our shredder. So let's take the bales round themselves. Ooh. Should probably have checked before I pulled out. Take this corner a bit slow. I don't want to risk a wobble on the trailer. Seems reasonably stable. You can see it lurching. If we'd gone an extra layer, that could have been problematic. So that should do. Let's get rid of the straps. And let's raise the ramp. We probably don't even need to raise the ramp. Although we are going to be able to stick one in each. I need to change the point of view. There we go. So I can actually see where I'm driving. There we go. That's the first couple of bales in. How much are we making? $17.64 per bale. So let's just do a quick calculation. I'm going to pull up a calculator for this. 1764 times 92 bales. That's $162,288 that we are going to make from our silage bales. That is very, very nice. We need some of this to pay for a little bit of construction changes that I have planned. So once I've done this trailer, I'm going to do those changes, and that's probably all the time we're going to have in the episode. So I will continue to stack the rest of the bales and tip them here at the BGA, you know, off camera. But the money is going up quite nicely and quite fast as well. It's certainly a lot quicker taking them off than it was putting them on. And the money is definitely going up. Alright, so I'm going to carry on selling the rest of this trailer and then I'll come back to you in a moment. There we go. So we have $39,748 after tipping our first trailer. That's quite a nice little starting amount of cash. We need to get rid of some stuff though. So first off, let's go into our garage, because now it's time to do a little bit of renovating. So we're going to start by getting rid of our root crop storage mod and the mill and one of the silos as well. There we go. So big clear out. So while we're here, it's time for us to actually place down some new buildings. Now what I want to do is I want to combine a storage module and a sale module. So we're going to start with the storage module. So let's spin this around. There we go. And this is going to sit just about here. Need to make sure it looks nice and square and straight. That looks pretty good. And make sure it doesn't go back too far. That's looking pretty good. So there we go. We have our storage module. Now we need the sale module. So we're going to rotate that around. And we are going to combine the two with some very crafty, careful placement. Like this. Going to edge them in ever so close as we can. that is just about it. Just rotate to get the angle right. Just edge it back ever so slightly. Rotate it ever so slightly more. And place. And there we go. We have one single structure that does both storage and sell point. It means we give up the temporary storage bay that was just there, but I can live with that. We can always dump some just here if we wanted to. Although more likely what's going to stay here is a skid steer and the pallet making conveyor belt. We can then tip our beets or potatoes into there, and we can also do pallets just here, and then we have, you know, around the back the combination of the two buildings over here. So it's pretty much identical around this side, except over here we have what looks to be maybe just a spare storage area. And then here, this is the drop-off point to store our beets and potatoes, and here's where we retrieve them from. So we have one effectively single building, and you can see with the way that the buildings interact with each other, everything lines up really nicely. It makes it look like one single building. So there we go. We have a combined storage and sale point down here purely for beets. So that's step one. Step two is to put a mill in, and for this we don't have enough money, so we are going to have to probably sell some more bales. Okay, so I've got my opening bale for the trailer. Start at the back this time. Lock that one down. That should be good enough, but just to make sure, I'm actually just going to nudge that across ever so slightly. There we go, perfect. So, I need to do one in front of that, and then I am good to go with my opening stack. Perfect. So I'll get those strapped down, and time to get on with the rest of the trailer. That's another trailer's worth of bales sold. So let's continue with our renovations. So we want a mill. So let's whiz this over to our dairy farm. There we go. Let's spin it around. Try and get this lined up properly. I really wish that Giants hadn't put the turn and the pivot on the same stick. It just makes it so awkward when you're trying to get something lined up. But, that's looking pretty decent. Let's make sure we're not colliding with the silo. We're not. Okay. Boom. There we go. We now have a mill at our dairy farm. So let's just jump up to the mill. And there we go. We now have a sale point here at the main farm. There's our silo next to it, so we can store crops for our pigs in there, and any surplus that we have we can always sell off in here as well. We can always add additional silos again elsewhere if we need to, but this is looking really good. And again, if we head back down to the root crop sale point, we have this wonderful double building here with a sell and storage point all in one. I'm really pleased with the way that looks. So that's pretty much it for the end of this episode. We've got a lot of bales left to ship, and I've got a lot more TMR to mix up and store into the silo. I'm going to do that off camera to save you watching the same thing over and over again. And I forgot to do the weeding, didn't I? Let's see. Field 12 needs a weeding. So I'll do that off camera as well, and then when you come back in the next episode, as you can see, these 3 fields here, they're in their final stage of growth. They will now be ready to harvest when you come back, and we'll be able to do our beet harvest, our wheat harvest, and our corn harvest. And then with this wheat, we'll be able to transfer that up to our animals and our silo up here, and we'll be able to put some bedding down for both our cows and our pigs and start making some solid manure. So that's the end of this episode. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with another episode of American Midwest very soon.